Okay, so today we are going to start discussion on paper format AS and A level. In this session, I would keep my discussion limited to AS and A level paper format. Paper 1, as you can see, has a total of 40 marks. It is a document question. This means that you are given sources. We will discuss shortly. Okay, basically you are given, you have to attempt one question from paper 1. Total marks are 40, and you have, as you can see, three sections. If you have opted a European option, you can attempt one question from this option, or if you have opted American option, then you have to attempt one question from American option. And if you, in case you are going to study international option, you have studied international option, then you can opt you have to attempt one question from international option. So this is how A, B, three section, you have to attempt one question from any of these options. Now one question 40 marks, and one question has two parts, we will discuss later. Now if you are, we can see section 1 is about a European option. You can see here the first question starts from here. Read the sources and then answer both parts of the question. Okay, you have to basically, these are the sources. The source may be it could be any speech or any material content from any book, and from an article. The source A has, as you can see, this is a letter, and the source B is a cartoon. Source C is source C is a speech, and source D is basically a response of a leader. Now these are the A, B, C and D sources. Now below these sources you are given one question, and this question has two parts, A and B, as you can see. So the question part A, it states, read sources A and D. How far do source A and D agree on Metternich's attitude towards supporters of a revolution in Germany? So this is the question that is about the comparison between two sources. What you have to do is you have to highlight the similarities and the differences, and at the same time you have to also uh, you have to rely largely on the information that are given in these sources, but at the same time also you're going to rely on the contextual factors or the knowledge that you have studied from the Cambridge endorsed books. Part B is read all the sources. This means you have to, for example, you can see source A, B, C, D. You have to read out all these sources, and here is a statement. The statement is, there was a real threat of revolution in Germany after 1815. How far do the sources support this assertion? So you have to highlight to what extent these sources support this view, and at the same time to what extent they don't. And in the end you have to make an evaluation. That means you have to engage not only the information from the sources but also from the knowledge that you have acquired from the Cambridge book. Similarly, where we have, if you have for the students who selected American option, they have similarly have they are also going to do one question from this path, source A, B, C, D, as you can see, and here we go, we have two parts of one question. Question 1 is again, it's about the comparison between B and D, and this carries 15 marks. Then we have part B, this has 25 marks, so total 40. If you have opted for international option, then you're going to again the format is similar. You are given sources A, B, C and D, and similarly we have the question below these sources, and this question has two parts, part A and B. Part A is about a comparison between any two sources. Here we have we are required to compare between source A and C, compare and contrast sources A and C as evidence about Hitler's attitude to Czechoslovakia. So this is the question, part A of this question, that carries 15 marks, and we have the B part of the question, that is read all the sources. So as we have discussed previously, again we have the B part is demanding that you have to study all the sources, and you have to you have to find how far the statement that is given here could be proved from these sources. For example, how far do the sources support the view that Britain and France opposed the German takeover of Czechoslovakia? So this is the question, and you have to highlight to what extent these sources support this view, and to what extent they don't, and in the end you have to make an evaluation. So total marks are 15. So this is the that's was this is all about the paper 1. Now coming to paper 2. Paper 2 is also called outline study. This is much similar to an essay type question, or that you used to attempt previously in history. Okay, so basically the time given is 1 hour and 45 minutes. I can also highlight the time given for paper 1. Paper 1 you have 1 hour and 15 minutes, and the duration for paper 2 is 1 hour and 45 minutes. But here this is called outline study, and we have here, similarly as we discussed for paper 1, we have three options, as you can see: European options, American option, and international option. So you have to, a candidate has to attempt two questions from any one, or any one option or any one section. For example, if you have studied European option, this means you are going to attempt two questions from the European option. If you have studied American option, you are going to attempt two questions from this part. And section 3 is about the international option. That means you are going to attempt two questions from this part if you have studied the international option. Basically I can repeat because I keep repeating so that you can have you can develop a good understanding of the format and the details of the paper pattern. Now coming to, here we go, we have here European option. As you can see, European option, modern Europe 1750 to 1921. So answer both parts of two questions. Here we have three questions, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. Each question has two parts, part A and part B. Similarly, question 2, part A and part B. Question 3, we have part A and part B, and each part A has 10 mark question and part B has 20 marks question. So 20, 30. So this means that the total marks for this paper are 60. Now, as you can see, we have explained why the monarchy was abolished in 1792. So this is this is about the French Revolution. As you have studied, those candidates who have studied the European option, they have studied all the course of events that are related to the French Revolution. So the monarchy was abolished in 1792 after the execution of the king and queen. Now basically this is much this is the cause. This is the question that is to do with the causation. You have to give reasons, and you have to explain all the reasons. For example, you can give one reason, two reasons, and with the evidence and explanation. So this is much similar. Those students who have studied O-level world history, they it would be very easier for those students to attempt this type of question. And now we have B part. B part is how far. How far is the command word that mostly the students are very familiar with. They are familiar with this command word, how far, to what extent. And so how far did Napoleon's domestic policies benefit the French people? This means the policies that Napoleon Bonaparte applied and adopted, how far they were beneficial for the French people. So you have to highlight how far the policies that were beneficial to the people, and at the same time the policies that was not beneficial. Then in the end you have to write down a paragraph that shows the evaluation of your what you have written. Now this is much similar to the previous. The only difference, as you can see, is in terms of the number of marks. Here we have 20 marks. This means that you are going to uh, supply more content, or you are going to supply the more reasons and the data, the relevant data. Obviously, you have to highlight all the contextual factors. Okay, similarly, we have question 2. This question is about the Industrial Revolution. We have 10 mark question, then 20 similarly, and the third. So out of these 3 questions, you can do any uh, two two question. Now coming to American option, the candidate who have studied American option, they have the similar format. They have 3 questions, out of which they could do any two. As you can see, a question, this question 4, it has part A 10 mark question, and part B carries 20 marks. Similarly, the question 5, the next question, and this is again having part A and part B. Part A carries 10 marks, and similarly part B 20 marks, as uh, you have seen before. And 6 is similar. The question 6 is also showing the similar format. The question and the themes obviously are the different. Now coming to the international option. International option, they are this is the mostly this is the theme, the option that mostly the students opt for. This one, international option and the European option, these are the most popular, popular options that students often study. Now as you can see, we again have 3 questions, 7, 8 and 9, and the candidate can do any two out of these 3 questions. For example, we have the question 7 here. It has part A, explain why Africa was the focus of an international conference in Berlin in 1884. So this carries 10 marks. This is a causation question. You have to give reasons with explanation, developed explanation. At least you are required to provide 2 developed reasons at this stage, and the 3, if you write 3, that would be that would be very ideal condition. Now now the part B, we have again a comparison question. The signing of a treaty of alliance with Britain in 1902 marked Japanese emergence as a significant power. How far do you agree? So this is again a statement. You have to highlight the points that support this this statement, and at the same time you have to highlight all the evidences and material that that does that that does not support this this statement. And in the end, obviously, you are going to provide an evaluation. Similarly, we have the next question, question 8. It has two parts again, part A and part B. I'm going to repeat all this so that you can develop a proper understanding of the paper format and the question, command words, and all this. So part A is explain why again. So this is again a causation question as you have seen previously. Explain why the League of Nations was involved in a dispute over the Åland Island in 1921. 10-mark question. You are going to supply three reasons. Ideally, you are going to supply three reasons, developed reasons. Then we have part B. This is again the question that required a comparison that required the candidate to show the skills of comparison. To what extent was 1925 a turning point in international relations in the 1920s? So this again carries 20 marks. The next one is about China and Japan, 1912 to 45. Again, we have part A and part B. Uh, Question 9 carries two parts, part A and part B. Part A, causation question explain why, carries 10 marks, and part B again a comparison, a question that that requires the candidate to show comparison and evaluation all at the same time. So this was all about the paper format. Today we discussed paper AS level paper 1 and paper 2, and hopefully next in the next session we will discuss the remaining two